Hello, Watchmen of Ephraim. This is a prophecy update. Donald Trump, last president of the USA, Ephraim. Let's put a exclamation point, question mark, test all things, hold fast what is good. 1 Thessalonians 5:19. Donald Trump, is he going to be the last president of the United States? Well, or Ephraim, excuse me. If Ephraim exists, and I do believe the United States is Ephraim, that's what I witness. The last king of Ephraim, like Hoshea, in the ancient kingdom, the last king must suffer a certain fate. I have it right out of the book, an oracle given to me years ago. I want to touch on a few articles here concerning Syria and Israel, or Judah, that little country over there that goes by our name. Let my name be named on him, on the lads, the two lads. I just got up, didn't take a shower, having a cup of coffee. Thought I would just do this. Probably stumble over my words. Don't do much preparation. But anyways, just want to give a heads up here. Couple similar articles on Syria. We recently, along with Syria, completed a joint military operation where we captured an ISIS leader, both cooperating together. Could you imagine that? A few months ago, Russia and Iran were the dictators in Syria, backing up Bashar Assad. Now it's the USA. Just keep this in mind. Just keep this stuff in mind. U.S. envoy says Syria back to our side after joint raid with extremist-led government forces. U.S. envoy to Syria Tom Barak, however you want to pronounce it, declared on 19th of October that Syria and the USA are once again allies. Now, we don't have diplomatic relations with them yet. We're working on removing all the rest of our sanctions against them. But notice what he said. Syria and the U.S. are once again allies. And I've been saying this for years, that somehow, some way, the United States or Ephraim going to form an alliance with Syria, and they are going to come against Ephraim, Syria. They're going to come against Judah like they did in the ancient kingdom. This Syria-Ephraim alliance, which brought on what? A shadow type of the Damascus oracle, and the removal of the northern kingdom of Israel out of the land by 722, 721 BC. To remind again, the thing that has been is what will be, that which is done is what will be done. There's nothing new under the sun. Can anyone say, see, this is new, it has already been done in ancient times before us? What happened before, going to happen again. It just seems to be going underneath the radar. I got one scripture I pulled up, but anyways, God said, I'm going to hide myself from the house of Jacob. If these things are true, they're slipping under the radar for the most part. So we are becoming allies with Syria. Again, along the same lines, Syria back to our side. On Sunday, U.S. envoy to Syria Tom Barak expressed Washington's support to Syria following a joint U.S.-Syrian security operation near Damascus. On a post on X, Barak said, didn't look up the pronunciation of his name, Syria is back to our side. Okay? Skipping down, a U.S. Central Command CENTCOM statement released September 12th noted that Admiral Brad Cooper and Barak met with Syrian Transitional President Ahmad al-Sharaa in Damascus, now notice, to deepen political and military cooperation, particularly in efforts to dismantle ISIS remnants in Syria. So, once again, deepening ties. An alliance will form if the thing that has been is what will be, and they will attempt to do some kind of overthrow of the Israel-Judah government. The Jews are the fourth son of Jacob, Judah, through his wife Leah. All right, this is going to set up the Great Tribulation, or the Damascus Oracle. Ephraim is going to lie desolate in the day of rebuke. It will happen. Who was it? Billy Graham said, Orthodox guy, if God does not judge America concerning its sins, then he, he owes an apology to the inhabitants of Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, continuing growing alliance between Syria and the USA, of which eyewitness is Ephraim, the full fulfillment, a multitude of nations, the 50 states. Notice here, this recent peace deal where Trump has boasted everlasting peace in the Middle East. I don't believe Trump is the Antichrist. You got a little ways to go. Yeah, you haven't even had the first trumpet judgment sound. 4 natural disasters that are going to come, and it's going to reduce the daylight by a third. Reduce the sun and the moon light by a third. Life will hang in the balance. Crops are going to fail. Vegetation's going to fail. Life in the sea is going to fail. It's not happened yet. Now notice, this Donald Trump, just keep this in mind. He turns on a dime. He can be your best buddy. But if you cross him, you're not fit for the dunghill. Keep this in mind. Just reading some headlines, read a few lines. Israel would lose all support from the U.S. if it annexes the West Bank, Trump warns. So the Israeli Knesset, like their Congress, whatever, has voted. They did a vote, and it passed, and they got to do a few votes to annex the settlements in the West Bank and establish Israeli law. Annex the West Bank, basically. Vice President Vance says Knesset preliminary vote on matter was very stupid and an insult to him, marring his visit. U.S. President predicts Saudi normalization this year. Wei's interview for Barghouti, or however you pronounce. Anyways, seemingly putting the kibosh on the Israeli right's dream of applying sovereignty to parts of the West Bank, U.S. President Donald Trump has said Israel would lose all support from the United States if it tried to move ahead with annexation. Keep that in mind. Now it's prophesied. I'll come back to this. Let's go to Isaiah 9. Verse 21, Manasseh shall devour Ephraim, or be against Ephraim, and Ephraim against Manasseh. That's Great Britain. There's rumblings of that. Now notice, together they shall be against Judah. Notice Zechariah 11. Haven't read these in a long time, in a while. Verse 13, and the Lord said to me, throw it to the potter. Okay, let me go on here. Then I cut in two, notice verse 14, my other staff, bonds, unity, that I might, notice, break the brotherhood between Judah, the Jews, over there in Israel, that's really Judah, and Israel. This was this was in the 500s BC, like 200 years plus after the kingdom of Israel was taken out by the Assyrians. So this is a future prophecy. The brotherhood's going to be broken. Let's keep that in mind. This guy turns on a dime. They're just bullying Netanyahu and the Jews over there, dictating everything to them. This is what Trump does. The world is his company. Okay. He's the boss. Well, it doesn't work that way on the world scene with independent sovereign nations. Trump said Israel would lose all support from the United States if he tried to move ahead with annexation. Notice this article here. If Netanyahu screws up Gaza deal, Trump has proclaimed everlasting peace, right? Boasting. Trump, if he screws the Gaza deal, Trump will screw him. Senior U.S. official said. Official says Israeli Prime Minister is walking a very thin tightrope with Trump amid Knesset push for West Bank annexation. Okay. A senior American official has issued a stark warning to Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that if he allows the ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas to collapse, he will face severe consequences from U.S. President Donald Trump, Israel's Channel 12 reported Thursday. He's walking a tightrope. If he screws up the deal, Donald Trump will screw him. Excuse me. They depend on us for their protection, for arms, for economic aid. If we withdraw everything, they're going to need to depend on somebody else for their survival. What did they do when Syria and what did Judah do when Syria and Ephraim formed an alliance to invade them? They cried out to the king of Assyria, which eyewitnesses Germany. It's pretty quiet right now concerning the EU and the US. That's what I witness. We'll see. And I also witnessed that the Roman Catholic Church nations will form wherever the harlot sits. That's where the eighth beast will be. It will be diverse from all the other ones. We'll see. Just keep that in mind. Keep this in mind. One wrong move. How long will Israel let them bully them? Or Judah? Trump and our government? Because Netanyahu said we're an independent country, but they depend on us for everything. Armaments, protection, a little big brother. Okay. Israel would lose all support from the U.S. if it annexes the West Bank. I read that one. I had one more. Yeah, here it is. If Netanyahu, well, you fill in the blanks, F's up the agreement, I didn't say it, he did. Donald Trump will F him, U.S. official says, report. If Netanyahu continues like this, he will eventually F up the agreement. And if he F's up the agreement, I didn't say it, they did, Donald Trump will F him, the U.S. official said. The White House is growing increasingly concerned with the Israeli government's conduct since the signing of the U.S. brokered Gaza deal. N12 reported on Thursday, citing a senior American source. Walking a very fine line, this person said, with President Trump. Keep that in mind. Just keep it in mind. We'll see what happens. Exclamation point. Question mark. It's my opinion they'll never accept a Palestinian state. Maybe from the hand of the Antichrist, but well, we'll see. Okay. Remaining windows here. Ancient Kingdom looks like the United States, Ephraim, New England, Florida, Gulf of Mexico / America, West Coast, Dan, Texas down here, Great Lakes. Thing that has been is what will be. That which is done is what will be done. There's nothing new under the sun. Okay? Florida, New England, Great Lakes, Texas, West Coast. Okay? Right? Great tribulation. Jacob's trouble. Damascus oracle ceased to be a city. Hosea 1. Let's do the NIV. Okay. When the Lord began to speak through Hosea, the Lord said to him, "Go marry a promiscuous woman and have children with her, for like an adulterous wife the land is guilty of unfaithfulness to the Lord." So he married Gomer, daughter of Diblaim, and she conceived and bore him a son. Then the Lord said to Hosea, "Call him Jezreel, because I will soon punish the house of Jehu for the massacre at Jezreel." Now notice, Jezreel, scatter. Notice. See this, fulfilled in part, Jehu went overboard with this massacre of Ahab's house. I will put an end, notice, I will put an end to the kingdom of Israel. In that day I will break Israel's bow in the valley of Jezreel. Look at this valley here. You got the plain of, I think it's pronounced Edrei. You have like a plain here. Then you have this valley of Jezreel leading to the Jordan Valley. Wouldn't that be a nice place for an invasion, for a landing from a navy? Like a beachhead, and then thousands of troops coming down to the Jordan Valley, marching down to Jerusalem. Maybe we have Syria up here, a joint military assault. Cry out to the beast, the king of the north. Wiped out. Of course, the USA here, there has to be an economic collapse. I mean, there's just, the fatness of Jacob is going to grow lean in that day. Okay, just keep that in mind. Notice his temperament. All support from the U.S. will be gone if Netanyahu, the Israeli Knesset, crosses him. Going to leave them alone and vulnerable. Okay, so it's the witness here that we're going to become enemies in the last days again. Okay. Just a short update. 23 minutes. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening.